My next guest is going to be headlining UFC Fight Night coming up here on November 28th against Derrick Lewis. It's Curtis Blaydes back here on the program. Curtis, how's it going, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are yourself?
Doing very well. Great to talk to you. Glad to see that you got this fight booked. I know this is a fight you've wanted for a very long time, and I know you had plenty of notice for this one. Just remind me, when did you actually put pen to paper on this fight? Because it seems like you've had, just like I said, a ton of notice.
I think we did it like a week and a half after Derrick Lewis beat Oleg. They offered it, and I signed immediately.
Yeah, and were you surprised a bit? Because I think we talked about this in the past. I mean, it's not a very good style matchup for him. Were you surprised that it actually came to fruition?
I was. I thought they were like hiding him or protecting him, but I guess not.
Yeah.
So, like you alluded, I've been asking for this fight for 2 years almost.
Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because if you remember, they actually booked the Olynyk fight before your fight with Volkov. So that's where we were kind of like, are they really trying to make this fight happen? But obviously, we can throw that conspiracy theory out the window. But I know you've been busy. I know that you got to work with Dominic Reyes heading into his last fight, right? He came out to Colorado to train with you guys?
He's about a week, but he did the majority of his camp at his home gym on Cali.
Gotcha. It must have still been good to see him because I know for a while there, you guys hadn't trained together for a while.
Oh yeah. It's always good to hang out with Dom. He actually came out again, and just hung out. We have a mutual homie out here that just had a little girl. He came out here to meet her, and we hung out. And I'm really hoping to help him out for his next fight
against Yuri.
Yeah, we were discussing if he wants to come here or if I should go out there for like 2 weeks. We'll definitely get some more work in now.
No, I agree. And just, quickly, obviously, things did not go his way against Jan Blachowicz. I wonder if the travel played a role too, just with him having to go out there to Fight Island and all that. Because I don't know, just as an outsider, a guy who doesn't fight, Dom didn't really look himself in that fight. Did you notice that as well, or do you think Jan was just, too good in that one?
No, he was he was off. It wasn't like the guy that we saw beat Jon Jones. He wasn't in there against Blachowicz. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened, if he had some personal issues at home, because that affects you also. It could have been anything, but he was a little bit off.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
For sure. So let's talk about Derrick Lewis. We know what he's going to try and do. He's going to try and take your head off. He's a knockout artist. He did a good job in that Olynyk fight of actually keeping it on the feet and getting the finish there. But I imagine it's wrestler versus striker. But then again, you've got some striking as well too. Is that kind of how you look at this fight?
Yeah, I'm going into this fight the same way I go into every fight. I'm going to wrestle you, and if you do in the wrestling the way you're supposed to, which opens up the striking, I will strike. But if you don't defend the wrestling, I'm going to take you down and ground and pound you.
Yeah. No, for sure. And we've seen that in a lot of the fights as well. How much do you think athleticism will play into this as well? One of the things, if you look at your first UFC fight against Ngannou to where you were in your last fight against Volkov, and I know some people gave you some grief about how you looked tired later in that fight, but let's forget about that.
I
know, but I kind of what I'm getting at here is that your conditioning has gone leaps and bounds, and even just physically, if you look at you from that first fight to now, you've leaned out a lot. You look a lot more athletic. Derrick Lewis not really known for that. So do you feel like that's going to play a role in this fight?
Oh yeah. Athleticism is a tool I have in my tool belt. I will always use it until I don't have it no more. But I know I still have it, and I believe I have the speed advantage, the athleticism advantage, the grappling advantage. I think I'm the more well-rounded striker, but he's a more heavy-handed striker. That's just not how I strike. I don't put everything into every punch. That's like his MO. So he's got the power advantage, but I think I have a lot more advantages than he does, and this is my fight to lose.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure, especially if you look at sort of the style matchup as well, because you got that wrestling in your back pocket no matter what, right? And we've talked about this. I think, and you said this before, and I agree with you. I think, wrestling-wise, you're one of the best, if not the best, I should say, in the heavyweight division. You still stand by that?
Oh, yeah. I have the record. I have the most career takedowns. I have the highest percentage of takedowns. I just have all the stats to talk about your grappling in the octagon, I lead all those stats. So I do believe I'm the best wrestler, and I'm gonna put that on display. Like if you don't agree with me, watch November 28th.
Yeah. By the way, I love too when like I always check out your posts on Instagram. I love how like the odd time a fan will say you're boring or whatever, and then you just show them the amount of TKOs you've had in your career. Because I actually went back and revisited this fight a couple of weeks ago just to kind of look at the style matchup, and you have a ton of knockouts on your resume. Like I don't know why fans forget that. It's crazy
because they judge you by your last one.
Recency bias. Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I knocked out Junior Dos Santos. I'm the greatest. I go to a decision with a really, really good Alexander Volkov. We just
saw a knockout Walt Harris. Exactly, yeah.
Like he's very legit. I think I may have underestimated him also because I went in there thinking I was going to destroy him. He made me work. That dude is legit. Mm-hmm. And they just fans, MMA fans are the worst. Like it will hold on. Like a guy like BJ Penn, who used to be good, but now he's not good. And now everyone's like, oh, he's still good. He's still good. I'm actually good, but everyone thinks I'm a bum. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's a lot of. I think we've talked about this before, but because I get it too, I'll get crappy comments from people. There's a lot of people who wish they could fight, and I think the only way they can compensate for that is if they, obviously if they write like crappy things as well. By the way, I did want to mention I saw you commented on the Tanner Boser and Arlovsky fight, saying that Boser should go a little bit forward. What did you think of that fight, and did you actually score it for Boser? Because I think some people did. I did, anyways.
I didn't because he landed a lot of kicks on the outside, but he didn't have a lot of pressure. He wasn't aggressive enough, in my opinion. He didn't land enough significant strikes. And I think Andre, he ended every round with a heavy, significant head strike.
That's true.
And I think to me, and to the judges, head strikes count, especially at heavyweight, a lot more towards the scoring as opposed to like kicks on the leg. Mm-hmm. Those are like little points, but head strikes are big points. So I gave it to Andre. He landed the more significant head strikes.
Yeah. No, I counted the kicks a little bit more, but you bring up a good point that, that stuff does weigh a little bit more in the judge's eyes. And I'm Canadian, Curtis. I'd be unpatriotic if I didn't.
I forgot.
Yeah, there you go. So there you go. Yeah.
I picked him to win, though.
Yeah, well, a lot of people did. He was the betting favorite. Arlovsky, credit to him. I mean, it's still at his age, he's getting wins. So that's impressive. So anyways, back to you, though. Training camp, anything different for this camp, or is it, business as usual in terms of training partners and all that?
It's been pretty much business as usual, but I've been doing a little more conditioning and a little less of the strength parts, a lot more conditioning, a little less lifting. And that's really the only difference in this camp.
Okay, and that's, I assume, to just be a little bit faster in this fight, maybe move around a little bit more, or just be a little bit lighter?
Well, no, because I realized I was tired that last round. I went to the dark place, and I don't want to ever have to go to that dark place again. So I just want my conditioning to be the best it can be.
Okay, when you say dark place, you mean like you're kind of like, oh shit, I'm tired. Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never been exhausted in a fight. I've never been exhausted in a competition, even going back to high school, going back to college for wrestling. Mm-hmm. I've never been that tired before in my life. That was an eye-opening experience. Like, it let me know, like, yo, this is something that you can still work on. You can still build on. Because I'm thinking my conditioning is good. It's good enough. It's good enough that I don't think that way no more. Like, your conditioning can always get better.
And then who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
The usual gang. Cody Donovan, my jiu-jitsu. Vinny Lopez, my striking. The homie Austin. And my other guy, Zach Paunga. He's a light heavyweight that I work out with a lot. A pro. He's actually looking to get some fights in this year because he's an LFA guy, but he hasn't been able to get a fight since June. So I'm hoping that getting him on TV or people start asking about him, and maybe we can get him a fight. For
sure. We'll send him my way if he's got a. You can do an interview or something.
Yeah.
Always love interviewing the up and comers. Dating back to when you and I did interviews when you were in RFA. Remember that? That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So there you go. How's this fight playing out in the 28th? I know the finish is probably something in your head where you're like, you know what, it would make a statement there if you stopped him, especially with your aspirations of fighting for a title.
Well, no, I definitely want to get the finish, but I'm not going to hunt it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be organic, but I'm going to use my pressure. I pretty much want to do what Glover did to Thiago this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Pressure, clinch, get him on the ground, beat him up, attempt this submission. If it doesn't work, I'll go back to beating him up, rinse and repeat.
How many submission wins do you have in your career? I was trying to remember.
I don't have any.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Because I was trying to remember. I know you had a lot of knockouts, but so that I mean, I don't know what the prop is on that. So if people are watching this, maybe you might see a submission here on the 28th, right?
I've been doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, so I'm really confident in my back attacks now.
Jon Jones going to heavyweight. Do you think that actually happens? It looks like he's vacated the title, says he's bulking up, but now we've got Izzy in the equation. So I don't know if that'll bring him back down. Do you think Jon will make a run at heavyweight?
I think he'll do one heavyweight fight against one guy, Stipe. And then win, lose, or draw, even if he wins, he vacates that belt, goes back down to light heavyweight.
Interesting.
He's not a legitimate heavyweight.
Okay, fair enough. You don't think you guys will ever fight? Because that's a fight we've talked about with the wrestling. It could be interesting.
No, I don't think so. I mean, that would be an amazing fight, like we were talking about earlier. He's a potential GOAT. When you get to go against a potential GOAT, that's always like great for your career.
Yeah, no, agree with that. What do you think of Israel Adesanya moving up to fight Jan Blachowicz? Do you think now's the right time? I mean, he's only got a couple title defenses. Do you think it's the good move to spruce up that division a bit, or do you think it kind of log jams everyone else?
It is a bit of a logjam because there are other viable options at light heavyweight, but it's also the people's fight.
Mm-hmm.
People, they want to see Izzy go to light heavyweight. He's just appeasing the people. I'm not mad at him, but it's also not my divisions. I probably would be a little angry if I was a middleweight.
I could have sworn I saw this. I might be wrong about this. You got engaged, did you not?
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome. I know you and your girl have been together for a while. So how did you do it? Were you nervous? Were you more nervous for that than some of your fights?
No, I've always like wondered like why are guys so nervous? I'm not gonna ask a girl unless I'm like 95% sure she's gonna say yes, and which she did obviously. I mean, I was happy. I did have nerves, but they were good nerves. They weren't like, oh my God, is she gonna say no?
Yeah.
I never even crossed my mind. Yeah.
I see. I was nervous when I did it only because my wife and I, leading up to us getting engaged, we had been together for a little bit. I think maybe I'm trying to remember how many years, but I was more nervous that I didn't want to screw up the speech or anything. I wanted it to be kind of cool, right? So that was the only reason I was nervous.
I didn't have a speech. You know what I did?
Yeah.
I was like to Aika because I know who I am. I'm not the biggest with the PDA, the public display.
Yeah.
Displays of like, I love you so much. What should I do? I was like, I'm gonna show my love by buying you a nice big rock.
Awesome.
It's a nice one.
Good for you, man. So, all that bonus money going to good work, I'm sure. When do you guys do you guys know when you're going to tie the knot? I guess with COVID, it's kind of uncertain right now.
We're projecting November for next year, like the middle of November, but we haven't. It's not in stone yet.
Right. Just sort of a ballpark time is when you're looking at. So,
yeah.
Excellent. Well, congratulations, and congrats on getting this fight, Curtis. I'm really looking forward to it. UFC Fight Night, November 28th. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you have any sponsors or shout-outs, the floor is yours, man.
You can find me at RazorBlades265 on Instagram and on Twitter. Please do not add me on Facebook. That's just for my friends and family. My sponsors, I have a new sponsor. I have a marijuana
nice. Finally,
sponsor.
something that you use outside of. That's good.
Wolfpack dispensaries here in Colorado. They've been providing me with a lot of CBD and a lot of like creams and lotions. And I've been putting them to good use, and they've been helping out a lot. and my management. You know Gary V.
Oh, of course, yeah. Vayner Sports. We talked about this last time. Yeah, AJ and all those guys.
Yeah, so shout out to the Vayner Sports. I appreciate them for adding me on the roster of great athletes, and can't wait to see what 21 brings.
For sure. And Lloyd, got to mention Lloyd as well. That guy does a great job. So shout out to Lloyd. Did they help you get that sponsor, the marijuana one? I imagine they probably helped a little bit.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.